Well, good morning from Brazil, northeast Brazil. I'm hoping to move off on Sunday and head south to Salvador. I think the wind's going to look pretty good. It's going to be shifting around a little bit more to the east. It's been mainly southeasterly, so it would have been on the nose when I left here, so I was waiting for it just to shift slightly and then head south. Okay, I'm going to have a little chat about the news. Years ago, I used to buy a paper called the Daily Mail, a UK paper. It was sort of right-wing paper, you know, and it always had very provocative headlines. You know, the sort of headlines that create quite a lot of fear-mongering. And I used to think, don't know about this paper. It used to actually wind me up, and in the end I decided, no, I'm not going to buy it anymore. It's a wind-up paper, you know. It's always going on about something maybe to do with immigrants or to do with people who are claiming benefits from the state they shouldn't be, or whatever. It was always sort of headline news. Well, last week I normally get my news now mainly from sort of YouTube, and I also listen to some of the different Apple Podcast news feeds. Last week, a guy I'd never heard of before, his name I think was Charlie Kirk, he was assassinated in a university in Utah, and he was shot through the neck and bled to death. It's a pretty horrific thing that happened to him, especially him only being a young guy, 31, with a wife and 2 kids. I thought that was awful. But he had quite radical views, right-wing radical views, and I think he even once came to Oxford University. Basically what he did, he got ordinary students to challenge him about his views and how he saw the world. He was sort of an evangelist and a bit of anti-feminist type thing, you know, this thing called woke and all this, you know. But I thought, well, that's you know, okay, he's got these, you know, maybe depending on your point of view, you just don't have to listen to that sort of thing. But no, obviously somebody got onto a roof with a rifle and shot him dead, shot him through the neck, which I thought was pretty awful. But the FBI was struggling to find this assassin. So the right-wing media, they started saying it was to do with the radical left Democrats. And I thought, well, where would they get that information from? That's totally unsubstantiated information. They didn't have a clue who this assassin was. They didn't have a clue of what this guy, his intentions was. In fact, in the end, it was just a young guy, and I think he turned himself in. I think his parents probably recognised the photograph of him and turned him in. And what really, for me, capped it off was a sitting US president. Instead of trying to bring the nation together, he actually inflamed it even more by just like an echo chamber from the what I call the right-wing mega people. And I thought, oh, that's awful, really, really bad. And it's like as if they're trying to make this young guy become a martyr. They even had the flags, US flags, flying at half-mast. And I thought, well, okay, this young kid, but he's not like being a statesman or anything like that, you know, or, you know, maybe an ex-president or something like that, you know. And I thought, well, that's absolutely weird, really weird. So I thought, no, there's something definitely wrong with social media. It's polarized, it polarizes and it creates division. And for young people, it can actually radicalize them, you know, and get them, you know. And the problem with the US, they've got very easy access to lethal firearms, which makes it even worse. So like the Daily Mail, I decided last week I'm going to have to be very careful and wean myself off the news, because it's not good. It's very bad, and I think it's very destructive. and this polarization and division is awful. And you know, and you've got this guy at the top, what I call the orange dictator. He's making it worse, and I thought, well, what's going on? So now I've been very careful, and most of the news feeds I'm not even watching, don't listen to. So I like reading anyway. I love reading, especially when I'm sailing. And you know, that last trip I did from Cabo Verde to here, it was a 21-day sail. I never had any news at all. The whale could have been a nuclear explosion somewhere. I wouldn't have known anything about it, you know. So that's for me now, is to be very discerning about what I'm reading, because you know it's very biased, an awful lot of the news. So if anything like me, I would just be very careful what you read, and because I think social media is becoming a very dangerous thing, unfortunately.